There we go. And if you can't do the screen show, then you can just leave it on the slides because we can see the slides, Kate.
You can see the slides, right?
Correct.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it's visible.
Oh, yeah, nice. I'm doing my Cisco Network Foundation course, and yeah, decided to talk with you guys about the IPv6 and remind ourselves what's that and why it's needed. The IPv4, the original protocol has run out of addresses, and it had 4.3 billion of addresses, and it can support the growing number of devices, especially in rapidly connecting regions like Africa and Asia. The network address translation was used, and it allows multiple devices on a local network to share a single public IPv4 address, and it helped, even though it introduces delays and complicated communication and limits direct peer-to-peer connections. With the rise of smart devices and the Internet of Things, we needed a better solution, which is IPv6. And IPv6 offers a vast address space with 340 undecillion addresses, ensuring that we'll never run out of it. It introduces smarter features like ISMPv6, which enhance communication between devices. This Internet Control Message Protocol version 6 improves by handling tasks like address resolution and automatic configuration. These features make IPv6 networks easier to set up and manage them. Major platforms like YouTube or Netflix and mobile providers have already adopted IPv6 for its benefits. Then IPv6 uses hexadecimal numbers, which include digits from 0 to 9 and letters from A to F. Each address is made up of 128 bits divided into 8 sections called hexstates. Here it is. This is a typical IPv6 format. Although it's longer than IPv4, its structure ensures that we have enough space for all the devices.
Hey, Kate, I'm still looking at the title screen. I'm still looking at slide 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you click over on the left-hand side on your slide sorter, that'll take us to...
Okay, yeah, it's on my second screen.
You're sharing your first screen.
Yeah. Oh,
so
no.
You have to select which screen to share. There we go.
Now?
Yep.
Oh, no. So here was the, when we ran out of IPv4 addresses, in what dates we just talked about, and then the number of addresses which IPv6 is offering to us. So I probably will not go again, right, with this slide.
That's fine.
Or what do you think? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, and here the Internet of Things. IoT connects everything from cars to home appliances and environmental sensors. These devices require unique internet addresses, and IPv4 couldn't provide them. So IPv6 is really crucial for IoT to grow and for the internet to scale with billions of new devices. Then transition techniques. Switching to IPv6 won't happen overnight, and we have these methods to help IPv4 and IPv6 coexist. First is dual stack. It's when devices use both protocols. Tunneling. It's IPv6 packets travel inside IPv4 networks. And net64, it translates IPv6 and IPv4 packets. Here's the representation rules. We can simplify IPv6 addresses by using these two rules. First, we are removing leading zeros in any section. And the second rule, when we use the double colon to replace long zeros. Here's the example of original IPv6 address, which was reduced by using these two rules. And in conclusion, IPv6 is the foundation for the future of the internet, and it resolves the IPv4 limitations that we had and ensures its scalability needed for the Internet of Things and the global growth of Internet. Yeah, that's it. Maybe I forget something, and please guys share.
No, that's very helpful, Kate. Very helpful. Are you aware of, I noticed the focus of this was scalability, but are you aware of any increased security capabilities in IPv6?
Yes, but I didn't make a note on the new protocols which are used in IPv6.
Okay. All right. It's my understanding, and I haven't studied it, but it's my understanding that IPv6 also allows for more solid, in other words, more trustworthy attribution. In other words, people have learned that they can spoof IP4 addresses. And one of the things that as a packet is traveling, across the internet through any infrastructure, it needs to know, number one, where it's from, and number two, where it's going. The where it's from can be used for forensics, like where did this come from? Well, it came from East Africa or whatever. It's my understanding that IPv6 helps to make the attribution more difficult to spoof. I'm not quite sure, but that's my understanding as well, because IPv4 source addresses, in other words, where this packet came from, are so frequently spoofed. So, but that's just my understanding. Any pros, Nerman, Chris, want to provide your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I know regarding there's attack called IPv6, like header manipulation, because IPv6 has more complex header structure with extension headers, which can be abused for like denial of service DDoS attacks, for example. I mean, it has like everything, like it has some security challenges. Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all. I just wanted to...
But I totally agree with you, Kate. My organization is literally working a timeline to convert our entire infrastructure over to IPv6. And, they're starting right now with all the infrastructure equipment, the switches, the routers, etc., the access points, the entry how you get into the infrastructure, all the backbone stuff. Then they're going to go down to the local switches and routers. Then they're going to go down to the local systems. And that includes things like client workstations, bring your own device, phones and such, and like you mentioned, IoT devices. What if you've got, I'm just going to use this isn't internet connected, but what if you have a device that connects to the internet, like on Wi-Fi or something? The goal of this is to get rid of IPv4 where possible and only be using IPv6. But the dual stack approach is, I think, one of the most widely used, because everything runs on IPv4 and then you add IPv6 as much as you can until everything is running IPv6, and then you start to remove IPv4. That is some of the smoothest ways to do it. Takes more time, and also dual stack means you have more bits and bytes going across your exact same infrastructure, because you're now running an IPv4 stack and you're running an IPv6 stack simultaneously. So you have to think about capacity for that. Good stuff, Kate. Very helpful. Very helpful. Anybody have any questions? No? Okay.